Today we're checking on the high-grade Destiny Gundam Revive, an absolute budget-friendly powerhouse in the Gunpla lineup. It's sleek, fun to build, and packs a ton of value for the price point. Now it's not perfect, there is some inconveniences. I'm talking to you, little yellow pea. What's up, Gunpla fam? Today we are unboxing this beautiful Destiny Gundam from 2019. This thing has phenomenal artwork and displays all kinds of amazing things that this is packed into a kit that's relatively cheap. Usually it comes in about $25 price point, that is USD. And this is an actual Bandai kit. You can take a look at overall just some of the amazing detail that Bandai packed into this kit as well. Once we get into the box itself, you're greeted with not that big of a sticker sheet, all kinds of beautiful runners, not a ton, but it comes together so nicely. These seed kits, if you love your seed kits, you definitely know how well they build up together. Taking a quick look at this manual here, some nice color, nice display, nice color display for that, and of course some actual paint references for you as well. Now don't let this intimidate you with the parts on there. It looks like a decent amount for a high grade. However, this thing builds up very simple. I always have a lot of appreciation for seed kits and how simple they are to build. It's so fun. So jumping into runner A, you have your multicolor with that blue clear beam effects, but trust me guys, there's so much more. B2, B1 are all white, and then you have your nice dark gray for C, and then C2 another dark gray, kind of like inner frames. Just a little bit of black on runner D. That is those wing caps there. Those are large in fact, and then of course your weapons here are again kind of on the larger side for plastic. I absolutely love the wing light effects, just absolutely gorgeous. And poly caps and color correcting stickers to round it out. Who doesn't like to stack their plastic just to see how high it is? Real quick guys, if you could subscribe to the channel, it would really help me out. I appreciate it. Back to the articulation segment here. We're moving right into the head. It is double ball jointed, so you have a nice 360 spin on that owl look. Some nice head tilts for some dynamic posing as well. Decent arm lift in that shoulder. It is kind of blocked. That shoulder segment does move up some. Of course, you can see where that pulls out, and that's part of the weapons accessory. However, that kind of messes with the dynamics of the kit as well, so that's why I left it in for this segment. Nice double bend at the arm. You can see the upper spin of the spin. Ball joint right there on the hand, and a little bit of extension on that ball joint too, so it allows decent ab crunch. You do kind of get caught up on the side skirt there, so you do get some movement side to side, but not as much as I'd like to see. Front skirt, of course, you do have that option to cut it if you prefer to have them individually lift, and that's just right there on a peg, so your side skirt can move up and down a little bit and side to side a decent amount. Nice full extension all the ways front to the back, you have pretty much none. That inner upper thigh does twist some, and a great split for this kit. Moving down to this knee, you have a beautiful double bend there. You can see nice clearance on the back, even though the vent does move up and down. Some on that thruster, catches a little bit on the backside of the leg, but does not interfere too much with that. Moving down to the foot, there is a lot of a deep pose on that foot coming down, and it actually kind of folds right there at the point as well. A little bit of side to side motion. Switching back to the wings, you can see the majority of the movement actually comes from the larger piece outside. However, the intersection does move some. This is where you actually mount your railgun and large sword. There is some movement on that as well, where it swings up and down and actually swings out as well. That rear thruster does have a little bit of up and down. I will note it seemed a little loose though. Taking a look at all the accessories that you get with this kit, and there is so much I had to do a second one just for the effects themselves, and oh man, it makes this kit absolutely worth it. Again, this kit is roughly $25 USD, and it's not hard to come by. It's still out there, so I do love it. Moving into this railgun setup on that, it does bend and fold just like you'd have with like the Freedom setup as well. That handle comes out, does twist. And you can see here, there is actually a rail system where that slides in. I did have my concerns about that, but it actually holds in there very firm, especially when you're flipping it upside down to actually show it coming out surprisingly firm. So I did not have too much concerns with this. This might be my favorite personal weapon for most Gundams, but it's this giant folding beam sword. And of course, these hilts fold out right here. It does fold in half. And you add the beam effect where it just kind of clicks and sits in there nice and just looks, just amazing. For size reference, this is actually larger than the Destiny Gundam itself. Mounts the same way on the back. Taking a look at the high energy beam rifle, you can see the scope and the handle itself does have some basic movement and a nice peg right there on the back side of the skirt. It holds in firmly. Taking a look at this very small shield, it does have a nice sliding feature on it, but that is it. It's pegs right into the arm, and unfortunately it's not on a rotation, so it is the way it sits on that arm. Moving over to the beam boomerangs, you get 2 of these, and of course they are stored on each side of the shoulder, giving it that high point to it. The beam effects they sit in there very firm, by the way, as well. Taking a look at the hands, you do have a holding hand and a closed hand. This yellow section here, you have to pull off the open hand or closed hand, vice versa, whatever it might be, to put the beam effect on to complete the overall kit. Once that sits in there, it just pegs right into a hole. Same thing with the beam shield. That yellow piece pegs into the beam shield, sits on top of the hand. It kind of gets right on top of that. A ball joint, that is for the closed hand for that. Here is the beam effects. One's upside down, my bad guys, sorry. Taking a look at the wings, you can see you have to fully extend these out. You have 2 small sections at the bottom here you can peg in, and then one on the top. Let me fumble around real quick as I'm just trying to get the lineup on that. It does have a certain lineup with those intersection pieces. They do sit around that, but once you kind of move them into place, and sometimes it takes a second to actually pop them in, a little bit of pressure added to it, it just looks absolutely gorgeous. So moving into the pros and cons of this kit, of course, this is a very budget-friendly kit for all the effect parts that you get. Honestly, Bandai usually sells this kind of effect parts separate with the kit. Just the amount of weapons that come on it as well is absurd, is absolutely gorgeous with the wings. Again, I can't get over the wings. But then the massive sword and the beam high energy railgun on the side of it too. You will not be tired of all the different poses you can put this thing in. So much shelf presence. And the articulation with this kit is extremely well too. It holds itself up very firmly once it's on a base, of course, just because of the wings itself. But another perk too is there's very little color correcting stickers, actually mostly on the shield and the weapon itself. But there is a couple minor inconveniences. This yellow section here, you see me swap it around between hands. You only get 2 of these for whatever reason instead of giving you 4. I don't know. Then you have the forearms here that separate a little bit when you're adjusting the arms. Just kind of a pain. Minor inconvenience at best. And then my last complaint always with backpack heavy kits is throw us a base in there. Obviously you threw in a ton of effect parts. Just give us a base too. It gives us something to lean on. It doesn't even have to be the best base. I do highly recommend this kit. Totally worth it as a gift or for yourself, guys. Make sure you check out this next video. And until next time, love.